Cantor Ellen Dreskin, and welcome to the Sheva talk on Tikkun Olam, repair of the world, or our sense of responsibility. I'd like to start off by giving you a little bit of an evolutionary synopsis of the phrase Tikkun Olam itself. We first hear it almost 2,000 years ago in a rabbinic commentary on the Torah called the Mishnah. It refers to the changes that our rabbis 2,000 years ago were already making to the interpretation of the Torah. And they make these interpretations, they say, for the sake of Tikkun Olam. All the way through the 12th century, for the first 1,000 years of the use of this phrase, it gets expanded on to mean the evolution of Jewish law that is designed to apply fairly and effectively to contemporary circumstances. So already Tikkun Olam means making a change in something in order that it can be fair and that it can remain relevant in our lives. Somewhere around the 16th century in the Middle East, in the mystical town of Sfat in the land of Israel, one of our Kabbalists, Rabbi Isaac Luria, articulates the mystery of creation as a metaphorical shattering of vessels that contain holy sparks. Tikkun Olam, in this sense, is applied to the phrase that we use of the repairing of these vessels in order to return the holy sparks to their appropriate place. We return these sparks through Torah study, through mitzvot, through the mending of one's own inner life, and we assist in the fixing of our broken world. This gives Tikkun Olam additional spiritual scaffolding. We also perform acts of Tikkun Olam when we fix our external world through acts of chesed, loving kindness, mishpat, social legislation, or tzedakah, righteousness. Even further, a much more concrete evolution of Tikkun Olam. We all know that we live in a world that is in great need of repair and of healing. We practice Tikkun Olam through our speech, through our actions, and our ritual lives as well. It is not an option Jewishly, but a responsibility. And there are several ways of looking at our world and our communities through this lens of Tikkun Olam. The first is to look at our environments through the lens of Tikkun Olam. You have the text study on your study guide from a 6th to 7th century commentary on Torah. It says, when the Holy One created the first man, human being, God took this person and led them all around the trees of the Garden of Eden and said to them, "Behold my works, how splendid they are. All that I've created, I created for your sake. Take care that you do not become corrupt and thus destroy my world. For once you become corrupt, there is no one coming after you to repair it." We are told at the very beginning of the book of Genesis that humankind's responsibility is to be a steward of the world, but also to master our world. So many of this take this word master and use it in a domineering sense, as in master and slave or master and servant. But let's look at it in other ways as well. We master a skill, or we master a musical instrument. In this way, it's not about dominating something, but about working in partnership with and taking care of. It's an eternal partnership. From our tradition, a story. There's the story of a vagrant who knocked on the rabbi's door begging for food and a night's shelter. Well, the rabbi was happy to feed him, and the rabbi told him that he actually knew of an abandoned cottage where, through God's mercy, the man could stay if he wanted to. Perhaps if he wanted to, he could even dig some roots or pick some berries to get himself a little bit of food. Well, the next morning, the rabbi took the man to the cottage. Its walls were so old and weather-worn that rain could blow right through in at least a dozen places. The roof had partially fallen in. The chimney was cracked and crumbling. Vines and nettle bushes grew all around. Trust in God, the rabbi said, to provide what is needed. And then he left. Well, the following month, he came back to pass by the cottage again to see how the man was doing, and he saw that the cottage had a new roof. Why, God and you have certainly found a way to keep the rain off your head, he said. Yes, we have, the man said gratefully. The next month, the rabbi came to visit, and he saw that all the nettles and the briars had been cleared away. And he said, boy, God and you have found a lovely way to make the area around the cottage green and beautiful. And the man said, yes, we certainly have. Well, the next month, the rabbi saw that the walls of the cottage had been repaired and the window frames set right. Oh, God and you are making a cozy shelter of this place, the rabbi said. And the man says, yes, we are. The following month, the rabbi saw that there were new trees and grass and flowers growing all around, and the soil had been tilled for a garden. Well, God and you are certainly making ready for you to nourish yourself, the rabbi said. Yes, we are, the man said gratefully. And this went on for a year. The following summer, the rabbi marveled at the gleaming cottage with a new chimney, a comfortable front porch, a freshly dug well from which sweet water could be drawn, and a well-tended garden full of fruit with ripening fruit and vegetables, and hutches stoked with forest rabbits the man had caught. The man himself was busy digging a root cellar. How truly wonderful all the work that God and you have done to reclaim this old place, the rabbi exclaimed. The man paused to wipe his brow. Yes, he said, and you'll remember how hard a time God was having when he had to do all the work by himself. We accept our responsibility Jewishly as partners with God in the act of creation, of reparation, and of healing. I'm going to invite you now to turn back to your handout, to your study guide, and look at the passage from Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch. It tells us a little bit more about our own relationship to the earth and to our environment. See what you think of the guiding questions following the passage, and we'll come back and talk more when you're done.